Hey everybody, thank you for coming in for another episode of Talking Mortal. I am brought to our guest here, Br4vado, a streamer also for the community of Mortal Online. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a little nervous being here. I don't know what to expect. I did a little bit of research and watched your channel when you got a hold of me. I watched the Demo Man video and I was entertained. I liked it. I liked the vibe of it. You know.
Alright, word. Did you see my expose video?
Which one? I watched a couple of them. I don't know which one you're referring to there. So maybe not. I'm not.
Okay, well, regardless, you're here. I want everyone to get to know you a bit. You seem like a pretty cool guy from me talking. So you've been playing Mortal Online since MO1, correct?
Yeah. I started in 2014. I just got my first computer. I was cooped up with a roommate working, these minimum wage jobs. And I was like, I'm looking for an MMO, something to sink my time into, because there ain't nothing to do. We lived in like a ghetto. It was a terrible neighborhood, so I didn't want to go outside. And he mentioned Mortal, and like from that day, I couldn't stop. Like I don't know. I've been a fan of the game for a while.
So tell us a little history about guilds. What guilds were you in, including MO1?
Oh, MO1. Well, so when I started, I got we spawned in Morinker together, me and my roommate, and we were just kind of like trying to figure out what to do. The whole new guy thing. What is this? What are those? Oh, what is this guy? So we got rolled into a guild called VK, and that guild was like a sub guild to Fate, and they were like a massive guild, right? Or what we considered a massive guild. There was three big guilds back in the day when I first started. There was Fate, RPK, Guts, and I think there was just one more, and I can't remember the name of them because it was new guy politics and stuff. And they were the ones like that was controlling the server at the time. Uh, Up until the first server war, then Fate stopped. They dropped out, or something happened to them. VK fell with them since they were a sub guild. RPK basically took the helm from Gulkor on down, and yeah, when I left VK, I was only in that guild for like a week or two. They brought me into the game, tossed me some weapons, and said go have fun. They didn't try to like get to know me or talk to me or anything like that. They just kind of equipped me and said go kill some people. And I wasn't like real involved with them. I never gave them a chance, and honestly they never gave me a chance. So like I stayed up to like 3 a.m. right away. I knew that this game was like one of those games where people took time, people took it serious. People's losing like houses and spouses over this game. So I stayed up to like 3 4 a.m., waited until it got dark in game, and I was like, you know what, I'm leaving Morinker. I'm leaving this place. They're gonna hunt me down like an animal. And I ran
So
down to
was this before RPK controlled Morinker, or was
that.
this after?
That I don't know because I was such a new guy. I have no idea. I know Fate and RPK rolled together a lot. So if RPK didn't control it, they weren't exactly, you know, unwelcomed. You know what I mean? Like I think they were in cahoots back then.
Gotcha. No, I was wondering because I don't know if you recall, RPK stormed Morinker and started killing all the new players that would come into
Dude.
Morinker while killing the guards. And that's what mainly killed MO1 from what?
Well, there was a reason to kill the
Right.
guards back then. You could grab the lictor wings, and it was like the best light armor in the game, or you could kill the heavier guards, and I forget what they dropped, but they dropped something worth killing them for.
Right.
As far as taking over Morinker and killing anyone around it, wherever RPK went, they fucking rolled it.
Mm-hmm.
RPK essentially at the end of the day I don't want to say they killed the game single-handedly, but they contributed a lot to the griefing. It
100%.
was in their name. It's in the title, RPK.
Right.
So it's just what they did, and you couldn't really take like what they did personally. What rubbed people the wrong way is when they started attacking allies, when they started attacking and taking over tons and tons of territory, up until the point where MO1 died. The developers announced MO2. RPK controlled 75, 85% of the map. The only safe place was like left was all the anti-RPK guilds were huddled in Meduli or pushed out into Sarduka,
Gotcha.
and we were just trying to like destroy their towers and slow down their onslaught, but it was futile. It was futile, to be honest. Like there was just no stopping that powerhouse.
So
They destroyed.
what
Sorry,
kept
I'm
you?
going
Well,
to go
no,
on a
no, no,
rant.
you're good. So what kept you going in the game? Because considering everything that went down.
Hey, thank you, Curious Holger. So what kept me going in the game is honestly just like there's no other game like it, right? And that could be a good thing and that could be a bad thing, like depending on how you want to look at it. Are you glass half full, half empty kind of person? Like Mortal offers like such a unique experience to a player. I've learned life skills from running guilds back in MO1, like management skills, like controlling budgets, managing people, micromanaging people's emotions, and this, that, the other. Like I've learned like life skills. I can't write it on a resume, but god damn it, I learned it. Sorry for cussing. I don't know how you
Dude, I don't fucking care, bro.
but
It's all good. We're just chilling,
right.
bro.
Yeah. So, what kept me going is like I knew logging in every day was a brand new experience. Something could happen, something big, something small, something different every day could happen. And then the guild after I left VK with, I still talk to those guys, 10 years later. Where I'm still technically like a part of them, and I will be. Like they still play, I still play. We're on different wavelengths now, but back in the day, like those people kept me going, making those real life friendships or connections and stuff. Because like when you beat on a wall for 8 hours and you hang out with the same group of people for 4, 8, 10 hours, watching movies in Discord while you're building a city, you can't help but to not actually start caring for these people you call friends and start spending that insane amount of time with each other. This
Camaraderie and
game,
shit, right?
yeah, this game offers experience to its players like none other. But
Right.
with that being said, it offers that experience if you want to spend the time to experience that.
Word. And then MO2, I know you're in UBG now, right?
No, I was.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah, I hopped around a couple different guilds. So my first guild that I did join, I have a video, the Clothos Queen video. I'm trying to think of the name. It's been a while since I made that video or watched it. I was rolling with this guild or that guild, and that guild kind of fell apart because of I don't want to say mismanagement or anything, because like the guild leader was cool. I didn't have a problem with it or anything, but there was like real no direction with that guild. One of the co-leaders wanted to be full on PvP and kill everybody, noobs, everybody, and then the other guild leader wanted to be a little bit more honorable about it, but he was open to the idea of PvP. But there was like no real solidarity to this is who we are, this is what we are. When I joined that guild, they were new to the game like everyone else and whatnot. And then I went back to my original guild, Eden. They're just a small guild based out of either Moki or Baki or whatever. It's the same group of people I played with 10 years ago when I first started the game. Then I rolled into UBG, and I was with them for like, I don't know, 2 weeks, a month,
Really?
something like
That's
that. Like a short period of time. Yeah, because like I joined them, and they're a great group of guys. I have no problem with them. I have no problem with how they run the guild or any of their members. Great group of people. They have good content creators. Like I can praise them, right? I have nothing bad to say about them. When I joined them, I was fishing in the jungle, and I was doing one of my jungle like adventures or whatever. I was working on a fishing guide for the jungle. I was down there for like 2-3 weeks. So while they were up at the mainland having fun, sieging people, killing people, going on these dungeon runs and adventures, I was trying to fish thistle snake down in the jungle. So I didn't get to hang out with them for too long. I don't even know where their keep is. Like I didn't interact with them. And honestly, I did that to myself. That had nothing to do with them. I was just working on content and focused on the content that I couldn't leave the jungle to go join the activities.
So who do you roll with now?
I am a co-leader for the University of Maryland.
Oh, I fucking saw you guys like around the area. I saw you guys had a little outpost outside of Meduli, I think. I ran across the like a little outpost.
Yeah, and that outpost, it is open to the public. We ask that you know, respect the area, respect the land, and we'll let you use it. You know, it's open to the area. Our whole thing is to help new players get a foothold in the guild or in the game, right? When a new player enters, they don't normally want to join a guild right away because they want to figure out the things for themselves at their own pace, and we try to provide the, you know, tools to do that. Hey, what interests you? What do you want to do? What's your direction of a character? And we're structured in a way where we'll forever be a small guild, because once we teach them the ways that they want to do and we set them up and get them pointed or rolling in a direction. Excuse me one sec. Sorry, I don't normally talk this much. But once we get new players set up and established in the world, we present them a list of guilds we feel that they would fit into with their personality, with their play style, and with like their morals, basically, right?
Right.
We could ship them off to a PvP guild, we could ship them off to a role playing guild, wherever we feel like they would best suit. We present them with options, or they can just say, you know, fuck you guys, I'm gonna go do my own thing. We don't take like to we don't hurt for that, you know, we don't take that personally. Like they could just go do whatever. We just want to teach them, to get them to understand the game loop, right? Or they can hang out with us and become an instructor and, you know, continue that circle of life of vet teaches noob. We want to spread that type of that type of vibe, right? We just bring in new people, teach them the game, present them with big guilds that do way more than we would. You know, we're not worried about territory control unless it like actually affects us, right? In our location. But like, yeah, we're not like into the whole power control or territory or anything like that. We just, you know, we're a new guy, good guy guild.
Oh my god, I can't. The comment. I can't, bruh. Okay.
If you get anyone interested in real life money,
we're not talking about that, bro. We're not
Yeah,
talking about that. I already know
well-
what he's talking about. We're not talking about that, bro. Oh my god.
well, yeah, and honestly, I seen the interviews I watched. It seemed kind of like I want to, you know, kind of avoid all that, because like that's not what I'm about, man. I don't want to talk trash on it guilds, whether they're what they're doing, what they're not doing.
Well, my question
That's not
then
what
to
I'm
you
here for.
guys, now that Star Vault has come out with the new Haven, like the Haven refresh, I guess we'll call it, and it seems to be it's huge, right? We can agree that it's a huge in the way that it teaches players the fundamentals. It kind of gives the players a taste of a lot of things that they'll actually interact with in the open world. Looting system, boss system, guild system, which is improved just because of the interface. Granted, there's obviously things that still need improvement on there, but
Yeah, like being able to access it. Like I hit G in Haven. I got a character in Haven right now. I couldn't even open the guild menu, which is like I get it, but I still feel like we should at least be able to access the menus to see what options are out there and read their little
I
description.
think they could do one simple thing: is guild logs.
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
So when a player leaves, when a player joins, when a player is promoted, when a player is demoted, you know, just simple interface options. Because you know how you get that pop up with the Clade menu. It says like press B, and then it's like guild tier. And that's when a player leaves the guild. Like it's like that could be edited. For example, like yada yada left, or like a member has left the guild, and then not thinking.
Oh man.
Yeah, and they're like not itching your head like, who the fuck do I need to remove from my Discord?
Yeah, no, I can get it from a leader's perspective and from that perspective. But my first story I told in here, I stayed up till 3 a.m. to not know I left the guild, because them fuckers were going to hunt me down. They were going to follow me to Baki at 3 a.m. I was that important to that guild.
Right.
A freshie, you know, like that's how serious I took it. Like I was like, I ain't about to fuck with that.
But with all that,
No, I get
being
it,
said,
I get
so how would you guys say the University of Ireland differentiates itself from all the new player improvements that Star Vault has taken?
How we differentiate it, we don't hand you a 36-page notebook to read full of all the in-game notes. We actually, you know, speak it.
Gotcha.
So, because like that's one thing I feel like they could improve on, and I messaged the developers and I said I will do voice lines for free. Let me read your tutorial out, because you got text box on text box and then a little other text box in the corner popping up. Ain't nobody gonna sit there and read that, which is why we have the guides online, which is why we make the YouTube videos.
Right.
They have a lot of useful information in there. You just got to read through it. And yeah, that's like the tutorial's good. I ran through it on one of my live streams, and I was just kind of like breezing through it. The new updated system is amazing. I like that it forces you in front of the tutorial. It don't teach it as you like go through this open world. Like, even if you hit the /end tutorial, you still have to walk through the area,
Right. And then
So
what do you feel about the Therons and like, the soldier tokens? You know how you can basically grind the fuck out of those and bring them to Ireland?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, do you still get the I on today's live stream, I just speed ran Haven in like 4.5 hours. I recorded, that's what I was ending the recording on before I came on here. I didn't know that you could
bring 400 of them.
You can make 400 of them.
You can bring 400 out.
That's insane. Because the capes are what, like
1,000.
Yeah, that's wild. I don't know. Do you think that would really make a difference? Like, I mean, it's half the tokens you need.
I think it's a lot of, like, I don't know.
We
got a lot of vets that are going back in the Haven right now, coming out just to get the cape, but also figuring out you can bring a lot of things out of there, and you got to keep in mind no one's going to kill you.
Yeah. No, yeah, that is...
You can bring Iron Fur out. The young troll, you can butcher it at a butcher table, get Iron Fur lore and Iron Fur.
I thought they took out the Iron Fur from the troll drop.
We have a member in our guild who literally sits in Haven and provides weapons for everyone,
wild.
friend or foe. We actually made messing weapons in Haven. We have messing.
That's wild.
Yeah, we have messing. Yeah.
But yeah, as far as the tokens go, like, I don't know. It's just a cape. It's not exactly, game breaking of an item. However, it does take like a long time to farm, and I can see how that's insulting to somebody who didn't have the opportunity to do that and doesn't want to delete their character to go back into Haven and do that.
And I'm honestly worried about Haven transition to Ireland. Haven's badass now, right? Like, you go to Haven, it's so fucking cool. It's way cooler than, like, the Rat Dungeon is cooler than a lot of the dungeons in Ireland. And it's huge.
I haven't done many dungeons, but yeah, it is huge. I don't want to say I haven't done many dungeons. I've got killed in a lot more dungeons than I've completed.
Right.
But I mean, they've all been like aesthetically cool. Like a couple of them. I'm trying to think. Like the spider caves. Yeah, they seem kind of empty. Or the one near Meduli. I thought the one near Meduli was like pretty well designed.
Yeah. I was thinking like more Ultimeki type bosses would be cool. More Queen variant type, like Spider Queen variant stuff.
I think roaming bosses would be...
Yeah, world bosses would be fucking huge.
Something to tie it together. Like in MO1, we had this thing called the Thorax. You couldn't touch that without like 30-something people. Yeah, really? You couldn't walk near it. Yeah, what it did is it walked... You know where the Spider Queen Cave is down in Spider Valley? Back,
just north of Mythic Village, right?
Yeah, it's around there. Yeah. I don't know what direction, but yeah, it's around Mythic Village. The Thorax would walk up and down that entire valley, and the Tegmatons would follow it, because that's like I don't know, lore behind that, I guess. But yeah, you needed like 30 people to roll that. Then over in Sarduka, there was like a Ratsar Queen. It would hide underground until you ran over top of it, not knowing it was there, and then it would just fucking come at you. We used to, not me or my guild, allegedly we used to pull that thing to Beth, the capital of
allegedly, brother.
Allegedly, we would stand out of the render range and keep poking it until it showed up at the capital city, and then we'd watch the guards try to fight it.
Yeah, that's funny as hell, though.
But yeah, no, we got down with some shit there. But yeah, no, they had a lot of these like cool like little world bosses. I think that's something that definitely could be added just to bring more variety to the game or whatever. But I don't know. See, I wasn't prepared to talk about this, or I'd have some talking points. But I feel like there's a lot of dungeons as it is. You know, every update we get a dungeon, and
Right.
like it's like it's a good thing because that's more dungeons that someone might not be at. But at the same time,
Well, the
we're
loot
gonna run out of
sucks.
space.
The loot
Yeah,
sucks with all the rest of the older dungeons, though. The
yeah.
loot tables need to be updated. Entrances need to be created. There's a lot of things that need to be revamped with the existing dungeons. Henrik has said that he was going to update the loot tables. He was going to add more entrances, but what's our time frame on that? This is all. It's kind of
Yeah.
like it. The conversation was actually between me and Henrik, and he didn't really give any kind of idea of what
Mhm.
that would look like, when that would happen.
Yeah, well, that's a lot to plan, and that would
Right.
be a huge update, and they would have to like mold the landscape to fit that. Um, one thing that could definitely help improve in dungeons, what I feel, is not let spiritists see mounts. Why on earth are they able to see a mount but not a player? Or have them like back in MO1, they had a system for the dead. It was called cow or caw or however you want to pronounce it. You hit X and your spirit form would present it to the living, and you could warn the living, hey, there's danger ahead. You know, if there was living around, you just had to keep tapping X until you seen somebody. Bring that system back. If they want to leave spirits as spies in dungeons and watch a group of horses run through the dungeon, at least put in a system where the living has a chance to see the dead as well. I mean, they have the transcendental awareness spell, but that's a lot of mana within itself. I don't know too much about that, but I feel like there needs to be some sort of something there to warn the living party that, hey, Odin Seed's watching this dungeon, or hey, the whoever controls the Necro dungeon, hey, they're here. You know,
Right.
why on earth can we see the uh, horses as a dead player? That
Yeah, I
never
don't
made
quite
sense to
understand.
me.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. At least this should be spiritist form human players or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they either need to present themselves back or just take the ability to see anything on the living surface outside of what they can, outside of like the spirit box collects and shit like that.
Yeah.
If something's living, they shouldn't be able to see it unless. Exactly. I'm going to talk in circles, but I
No,
don't
no,
know.
no.
Maybe.
You're good, bro. Yeah, no, for sure. So I mean, one of the things I'm really looking forward to under the Underdark expansion. So there's a lot of rumors behind that. So I'm
Is
not.
that is that where they're expanding the Soleno cave to get like more cities underground and stuff like that? I heard him mention that a
Right.
while back in one of his
So yeah,
extracts.
he mentioned it a while back. The whole deal with that, which is interesting too. If you read the lore, what that mortal has, the Blaine Ogmirs were pushed underground,
Okay.
and we don't have a Blaine city yet, right? We have no Blaine rep, nothing of the sort. So I thought it was interesting that because that actually happened after MO1, that when the Blaine got pushed underground.
Yeah, the lore for that is MO2. I know takes place 500 years in the future from the events of MO1.
Right. So I think we're going to be seeing, and don't quote me on this, but an Ogmer city underground of some sort, and it's going to be a Blaine Ogmer city, and there's going to be obviously more POIs that extend throughout the bottom of the map. I'm curious to see how that's going to work, though.
Yeah, because you're gonna have to navigate the dungeons. The dungeon systems in Mortal is you go down. The further you go into the earth, the closer you're getting to a boss room. So how they're gonna navigate around all their dungeons that is going underground. I think the only one that doesn't really like do it on a, you know, on at a huge scale is the Meduli one. But I really don't know. I don't have a lot of experience with dungeons or high end loot. I'm a PvE kid. Like
I
I
gotcha.
don't worry about the meta builds. I just worry about having fun with some people. But yeah, that would be interesting to see the layout of that because you could tunnel into a dungeon. I think that would be cool too, though. Being able to just tunnel into a dungeon from the Underdark or underground or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. That would be interesting to see how they meet that or beat that, because like the way he explained it back in his stream was like not only was there going to be one city, there was just going to be a whole entire another map underneath the surface.
Well, I've actually been working on something that I might as well talk about it here. I'm gonna give it to Henrik soon, actually. So with the Underdark expansion, hopefully coming soon, right? I'm actually thinking. I've been creating this whole lore and how it would work of a underground murderer town with guards, and it's based off of a religion in Mortal, close to that of Baldur's Gate, the god of Baal, the god of murder.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Murder,
there's actually
yes.
would be a rep system involved to this murder city, and only way to access it is to get rep with that faction. And the only way to get the rep is through task vendors that would be hidden in the most randomest spots throughout the map. They'd be kind of like cultist task vendors. And if you killed a fellow murderer within the murder city, you would lose rep, just like you would in a normal city above ground.
Okay.
And so I have this whole like murder cult religion lore kind of printed out relating to some of the actions in MO1, and it's a hidden city. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah. It makes sense. That sounds like it would be a lot. What if the reputation system would be tied to the assassin quest or the assassin task, like the whole like bounty hunting system?
Mm-hmm.
There's really no point to it. I'm not sure of the rewards, but you get like what, 2 standing and then whatever the player's carrying. Where does you get standing for the town that you took it
only
in
do
or
it for the
turned
cape.
it into it?
Just the cape. That's all they want.
Yeah, so wouldn't you be able to like link that into your murder city? Because like you're hunting down another player, or you can go farm cultist, or
Well, the NPC task would be given task to kill like a Tendrimic NPC diplomat in Tindrim.
Okay.
Because Tindrim's so massive, and there's a lot of unused open buildings in there.
Yeah. There's a whole half section of Tindrim still needing to be added, but yeah.
So I was thinking of adding these task NPCs, like the kill NPC, into these empty rooms. You kill them, you would actually go crim. And then you would actually find out how to escape, and there would be some secret escape ways that we could build into the city.
That's wild that you mentioned that, because like I'm going to talk about MO1 because a lot of this stuff relates, and I apologize. I don't want to be that guy back in my day, but there was this NPC called Maros or Marcus or something like that. He would hang out in the Tindrim Gardens. You had to kill him, take his head to the other side of the city in a place called the slums, and it was like there was bandits and scoundrels there. It was just like it was the slums, a ghetto of sorts. You had to find and navigate your way through the main city of Tindrim to get from the gardens to the slums, and your guildmates would have to like follow and get to know the guards pathing and tell you, okay, it's clear, come around the corner. Hey, It's clear, run up these steps and across this building. And it was just crazy that you mentioned that, because they can put that back in. They can set them up like that. They've done it before.
Exactly, and it's not that hard to achieve with coding, because it's basically an NPC kill task, which is simple. If the player kills X NPC, quest complete, right? And then you obviously there's the task vendors that he already came out with have the bonus timers, right? So if you die, you don't get the bonus. If you don't deliver on time, you don't get the bonus. It'd be kind of the exact same situation. So I thought it's really cool that if you just simply tweak a little couple things, and then make a new rep system, and this rep system is what builds your actions to go to quote-unquote Murder City, where it would be like the MK of murders. So you would have like a notorious, all the crafting shit necessary. You have the guards there that look after only the people that have this faction's rep, and it would be specifically for murderers. So it would be a true safe haven for murderers to live and be based out of.
And I think they need something like that for sure. And that was the reason they brought in this whole like faction system too. I believe is, or not faction system, but this whole reputation system is because like Reds don't have a lot of options. Back in the day, they could make their own cities, hire their own guards. You could take over a territory and add or take away guards to a city. I think Moki suffered from that back in the day, where RPK took it over. They'd turn off the guards in Moki, and then next week the guards would be turned back on, just randomly on and off. So without a system like that in place yet, yeah, the Reds do need somewhere, if they don't have the reputation to walk into Meduli, to walk into Tindrum, or to walk around freely, they do need a guarded city. I agree with that.
And then I was also building like a complete opposite of the murder god religion. And then I'm currently not finished working on a kind of holy Tindremic paladin type religion. So it would be a secondary, a sub reputation under Tindrum for like some sort of holy church. And it would be another task system to purge evil like the Rizars and maybe some like Underdark NPCs or players. You know, some sort of purging for like a holy war type shit.
Yeah, like a holy crusade or like a religious crusade. So you're talking like, would that be handled like a war deck where they can attack each other no matter where they're at, around guards, not around guards?
So the Holy Crusade, I think that my first thoughts go is it'd be more focused towards targeting Rizars. Right.
Okay.
So the only time I feel like this quote unquote religion would be released is when we get access to the Rizar Nation. Right?
Okay.
Or check
yeah.
Gibraltar, whatever. Gibraltar. Yeah, I think it's Gibraltar.
I've never heard anything about that. That's interesting.
So Gibraltar is the continent to the right beside GK that connects to the Hot Gates.
Oh, okay.
So that's where the Risers were sealed. Right,
okay.
After MO1. So remember the invasion system they had with the Rizars?
Oh yeah, no, they had it with bandits. I can't wait for that shit to come back. That's so cool. Watching a camp grow and grow and grow, and then eventually tack a big city. You know?
Right. And so with the new system, or with them opening up Gibraltar, it would so they would have the Riser reputation that it is active in the game right now, right? So you can do tasks for the Risers to gain rep with them while losing rep with Tindrum and Kurite.
Right? Yeah, I didn't know. I thought it was just the Thursars had the Clade. I didn't know that there was a whole ass task system with them.
No, it wasn't really a task. It was more like a rep. So Thursars automatically gain more. They can go positive with Rizar. They can actually, but they can't go down into like GK Riser and interact with the boss. Right. I'm thinking that's something that should change. You get positive rep, or at 0 rep, you should be able to go interact with the Rizars in GK Riser and do maybe a task with the chieftain who's the boss in GK Riser. There should be
there should be some sort of roleplay system there.
Yeah. So, and then that builds you reputation to enter Gibraltar without having to worry about fighting all the Risers in the continent.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So then Gibraltar becomes this whole different continent just for those that have positive rep to do whatever activities. So whole new content. And of course, though, the downside is you have to rebuild your rep with Tindrum and Kurite if you want to go back to Ireland, etc. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, if you're casting a holy crusade against the Risers, wouldn't the Thursars be looped in with them because they're part Riser?
So Thursars are also part human, though.
Yeah, well.
So I think Thursars are in an interesting situation where they can pick and choose, kind of, because of their birth. But
about
of course,
the other players, the extremists.
Maybe they got to do more, though. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they got to do more to prove themselves. Some specific Thursar quest line. But the problem with that, people would feel like they get access to this just because they're Thursars.
Well, already Thursars get a penalty to starting out lower on the reputation poll than any other race. Like they're already at a disadvantage with both settlements, the Curite and the Tindremic. They gain reputation slower as a clade.
No, I did not know that. Okay. Cool. But yeah, I mean, there's so much shit from MO1 I need to implement into MO2.
Oh yeah, half
Yeah.
the game's still missing, and like we need breeding. Like I'm tired of telling it. Every time I talk about it, we need goddamn breeding.
Dude,
It's coming, I know.
I wanna do a Lyciator with the fucking pig, bro. I'm sorry, but that's what I want to do.
Well, yeah, I mean that'd be interesting and all and whatnot, but it's all about like the interspecies of breeding, like combining a Jotun with a desert and coming out with something equivalent to Steppe Horse, either in the ways of strength or the ways of speed. But like it's all about the interspecies of breeding, like each bred of horse or each bred of Lyciator, each bred of what's the big fucking mammoth? I almost said mammoth.
Campodon?
Well, yeah, no, the Malvas.
Oh, Mulva.
I mean, yeah, Campodon's even, but there's only like one species of Campodon. But
right.
The Malvas, the horses, they all have interspecies, and when you breed them together, they get stats from each parent host. You're building a family tree for your pets.
And we're still have to see dragons, bro.
We've been waiting to see dragons since MO1. Like, you could stand on the end of GK in MO1. You can go up to the edge of the map on the golf course side, look across the node lines, and you would see a dragon sleeping in the mountains. We've been waiting for we've been waiting for his ass to wake up for years now.
Shit. Yeah. Did they have dragon lore in MO1?
Yeah, actually they did. They do. So you got to run the Satyr dungeon, right? The way the loot works is a object, a collectible, a lootable, whatever, cannot be touched. The longer it sits untouched, the more loot value it gains and gains and gains over time until server reset, where then it resets. So you got to run the Satyr dungeon, pray that no one else did it within the last like 23 hours. Run in there and you will get 1 dragon bone or 1 dragon scale. 1 unit. My guild leader has 2, or my old guild leader has 2 in her bank in MO1. But yeah, they did have dragon lore, and they had dragon items. You would just have to be lucky, 1,000 different times to make a piece of armor or a piece of weapon. Like, it wasn't even worth it. It was more or less a placeholder, a trophy,
Right. Yeah.
But they were usable if you were that lucky that often. It was just such a rare drop that
I'm curious to see if MO2 does meet the full potential, because I mean, this is the first time that MO2 has a positive review on the Steam page.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, we're currently at a 72%.
Nice.
Yes. To all you fuckers out there, change your damn reviews, because that's what promotes the game. And I hate to say it, but the game's in a really good place right now. And I think...
Why do you hate to say that? Well,
it's because there's so many people that would disagree with me right now. There's so
those people live on Reddit.
The game has gotten to such a better location. And I mean, if you compare it to what it was, obviously the game was dog shit back then. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, but the game was like their first look, and back in beta, that was their first look as MO1 was shutting down and closing its doors.
Right.
But yeah, it is leagues better from where it was, but there is still so much to add. And like, I understand. There's one Reddit user I don't understand, but there is. I understand people's frustration with the game. When, like I said, when we're building walls for 8 hours a day, and we're putting 4-6 hours into an average play session, this game has a unique thing where everything becomes attached to you, like one way or another. Like, yeah, gear fear is one thing, that's the short term, but in the long term, you start to care about your character, you start to care about your bank account, you start to care about the time that you invest into a game.
Right.
That changes one thing or another that personally affects you, but in the grand scheme of things, you don't want to see that it was for the better or not for the better. It's like when your parents ground you or beat your ass or whatever. It's they're shaping up your character. It's just gonna hurt for a second. I don't know.
So like the way I'm looking at it though, it's like so with the whole positivity remarks on this game, right? Granted, obviously, a lot of our player base has recently seen how much potential the game has and how much it has improved since the Origin, right? Origin, I'm only talking MO2. We're not going to talk about MO1 Origin, because MO1 definitely has a much better
Well,
content base than MO2.
well, that game also had its flops, like even with the faction system and shit. Like,
Right, right, right.
yeah. I mean, they
But
were testing out ideas at the
if
end, trying
can
to.
we imagine though if we got a shit ton of positive reviews on this game, right? And keep in mind, I'm not saying this because go Starvault. I'm not simping for Starvault or anything like that. I'm simping for just getting more players to our game because guess what? They're the ones that are gonna pay. Actually, I don't want to say that. They're gonna pay Starvault, right? And Starvault, if they have any brains, are gonna add more employees to their dev team, right? Which isn't, guess what? In turn, more content pump out. I mean, they're pumping out content really well right now, granted, but I mean, they have a very small dev team. If we
Yeah.
manage to pump out even more subscribers to this game, this the whole meeting its whole potential gets it just blows out of proportion in a sense of just becoming a better overall developed game, and that takes money, and an MMO is not cheap, and I know that. I actually was in game development for some time, Br4vado, and I was actually working on MMOs and shit like that. Worked for Sony as well at one point.
Oh, right on.
No, so it's a bitch. It's expensive. You're
And
talking.
it's time
Yeah.
consuming. Like, these devs aren't going to stay up 3-4 days in a row. I mean, they might. I don't know what kind of regime they're under, but they, they got families. They got how, they got lives. It's
Well, I heard though, and this game is actually owned partially by the Swedish government.
oh wow. So
Yeah.
they're spying on us.
Well, apparently it's a profit project for the government. I don't know exactly the details. I need to do a lot more research because I just found this out today. Apparently, this game gives a lot of its profits to the Swedish government.
Okay.
I'm in the investor Discord, so I'm going to ask around a bit, poke my nose where it shouldn't be probably.
Well, good thing the Swedish are the nicest people on the planet.
Right.
Allegedly.
So I'm very curious to see what I find. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, if we get more players into this game, I swear to God, we probably will see a lot more content push.
Oh yeah, and it's just money equals time equals progress. But I also want to make a comment on gaming's comment there that says it's a passion project. It is a passion project, and it has been for the last 10 14 years. I think the game released in like 2000. He started it in 2000 10 2012, somewhere around there. That's when MO1 released. And it has been for years and years, and I see the passion that he has. These developers were down to like one or two guys at one point. They were a small team. They seen the hardest hits. They seen the biggest gains, and I call me a simp or call me a fanboy, whatever. I see the passion that these developers have for this game, and that's why that there's no other game like this, and that's why it provides an experience like no other game can. And is that an insult?
Right.
Like that's how I see it. Like if I'm spending my time and my money on a game that is widely considered a scam or widely considered dead or whatever, widely considered negative, if I'm having a good time playing this game or doing this as a hobby or content or whatever, am I getting scammed because I'm enjoying what I'm doing? I don't feel scammed. I don't feel robbed. I like the game. I see the vision and I can support it. And as long as I get the time that I invested into it and I'm having fun doing it, that's not a loss on me.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. No, I agree with that. And I mean, everything costs money. We can all agree. So yeah, if you guys do have negative reviews, maybe it might be time to readjust that review. I mean, if you guys have watched Wolfside's video, he does bring up a very good point. Kind of what we've been discussing with the game's promotion means more viewership, means more Steam spotlights. There's a lot of possibilities that I think people are underestimating. I get that there's a lot of issues that are still going on in the game, but we've come quite a long ways in the short amount of time recently.
Yeah, and there's more content to this game to be produced than PvP videos and tutorials, Like, it's few and far between. You just need to have the patience. Like, a grand story of somebody's playthrough isn't going to happen overnight or isn't going to happen within, like, a day or whatever. I just released a DayZ video, right? That took like 2.5 hour gameplay. I got a neat little story in it. But then I'm working on a bigger project with DayZ. We're like 2 weeks into our journey or adventure. Like, it takes time to create that journey and to reach that destination. Mortal's a game not about the end game. There is no end game. It's just the journey that the story you're creating for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, the end game is when you want the end game to be there.
No, for sure, for sure. Yeah, and I
But
mean, it's about it being not just patient, but if man,
well, I mean patient, like within content creation. Like, you're not going to tell an epic story or get an epic video in one day. It's going to take a couple days for that story to tell itself, to reveal itself, you know.
right, right, for sure.
And yeah.
No, and I mean, there's a lot of player created driven content that we need to commend the community for, but then there's a lot of people that are against making their own personal content,
Mhm.
which I think we need to kind of focus on and cater to in a bit of a way. So for example, Barados, great example. He leads his community very well. He creates content that's very enjoyable. He creates dialogues, creates kind of like a storyline, right?
Yeah.
And it gets people entertained, interested in the game. I'm thinking of a lot more, not just content creators, but just your everyday Joe, like players, right? Just you casuals, whatever. Kind of pushing more towards those narratives. I think we could really attract a larger audience to the game because I think with the at current right, we have so many task vendors at the moment that a lot of players are content with just grinding out to get the capes and shit like that, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Um, I do believe that the lore needs to be more easily accessible in this game because it gives more ideas to players of things maybe they could think of, get the juices like kind of going of kind of like player made events. Because I mean, the only player made events that we really see are, you know, like the Fabric Militia, the um, the arena duels that like the bars held, right? Winner gets 5,000 gold.
Yeah.
Um, you know, shit like that. I'm talking like an actual, like I'm not saying be a fucking role player or something like that. If like obviously I'm not really into that type of stuff. I'm more
Yeah.
here just like to slash on people and beat their brains out and then get some hot loot at the end of it. That's my play style, right? That's how what I enjoy.
Mhm.
Um, and I enjoy fighting players that are better, right? Because that's how I'm going to develop better as a player, as an individual. But I want there to be more kind of a driven storyline that us players can create, than force upon Star Vault to create, just because this is an open sandbox game, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah, and it does take those people to, you know, create their own narratives, create their own stories, but without a group of another people, like person, pushing that forward and fitting their narrative, yeah, it gets hazy. Like, they something that could like help release lore and understand the world that you're in and stuff like that is put markings on the wall, like in the Satyr dungeon. Have like a wall that just tells a timeline story like the Egyptians did, or leave little notes around the world or history books that you pick up. We pick up these ruined books, but that's just all they are. You can't read them, you can't do anything with them. You just, you know, delete them out of your inventory or whatever. Put scripture in there, you know,
Right.
like
Right.
you were saying, like an old god or something, or just give the world this life, that this old life or this past life or whatever that we can discover, and, you know, find the second chapter somewhere else, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I don't know how long you spent in Haven, but they did a great way of doing small storytelling. Did you come across the house, the abandoned house outside the town? And there's a note inside with a dead corpse, and turns out he was a runaway bandit. He turned away from banditing.
Oh yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he left a note saying, "I left my treasures in a outside north of the house. And if you go
Mhm.
north, there's a bush with an urn with a shit ton of gems in it."
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's like really cool small storytelling. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's like
Yeah,
if
and that's all they really
yeah,
need is little
Right, and
hint.
if players could leave notes, though,
There would be
okay,
so much
right,
dick
but I
graffiti
think they should
around.
obviously be moderated, right? They could be
Oh
moderated,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I'm not saying like assign a dedicated moderator to it, and you
Well,
know,
they had some. I mean, I hate to keep talking about the past because we're talking about the future and stuff
right,
like that. But they had a guy to do that. In MO1, you could become an established author in that game. You could pick up a blank book, you could draw in it, and you could type in it. You could tell fictional stories. You could tell how-to guides, like how to scam people with pet tickets. There was this one guy. He literally published books on how to scam people, how to kill people, how to do this, how to do that, or the history of this guild or that guild. You would type this book out, send it to a developer. They would read through it because it's an in-game book. It's only a few pages. They would make sure that there's nothing derogatory in it, and then they would throw it on the public library for other people to buy, and that gold would go to your mailbox. So
that's pretty sick. That's pretty cool.
so yeah, they can definitely do it, and they have done it. As far as leaving notes around the world like that, I think it would just be a big dick drawing contest.
Oh man, it makes me kind of think of like Dark Souls, with those like the messages people leave on the ground when you're
Yeah,
traversing. People leave some fucked up shit or some really misleading shit, and it gets you
yeah.
killed.
That misleading stuff. That's good that you brought that up. That's content, like
Yeah,
like I seen Bigfoot in the colored forest. If you go here at this time of day holding a fucking rabbit carcass, he'll come out and
right,
kill him. Like that's content. I got duped.
right, yeah. And I can't like, as much as I'm gonna fucking hate saying this, I can't wait for thievery. I said it.
Me either, man. I'm waiting on. I just built a thief today, and I can't even use them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm waiting on breeding. I'm waiting on thievery. These relic drops that I'll never get to touch.
Well, we got
And
pilfering, right? The pilfering clay for humans is available for use with no use.
yeah.
So
Well, I didn't they take thievery off the roadmap?
no. He said he's still going to do it. Just he doesn't have an exact ETA of that. Is what his
Yeah.
wording was.
Okay. As long as it's not like out and about, because you have clades built for it, you have people wanting it. Like I was a thief in Tindrum. I ran a casino out of Tindrum with dice games and whatnot Like, I don't know. I loved playing a thief because between the 4 characters I had, the 4 accounts I had, I would log on my thief, meet a new player, say, "Hey man, I need your help. Go to the graveyard and meet this guy." And the name I would give him would be an alternate account. So while he ran to the graveyard looking for this guy, I would re-log over, be like, "Hey, dude, this guy sent me to find you. You need help or something?" Yeah, I would build my own like little quest line. You go from the bank to the graveyard, fight the general, get the key, meet the thief back over at this statue. He takes you through the maze. You make a bunch of money. You had a good time.
Right.
Couldn't do that without a thief. Like, I don't know. Thief can be used for good and bad, but it is a part of the life immortal. We need thievery. We need breeding. We need farming is something we've never had. And I think that would be really cool. The relic drops, the
Well, he was talking about relics. He's talking about doing like the gate system, which is like basically a copy of the Albion gates. So you enter in a certain amount of players at specific gates throughout the world, which takes you to a kind of like an alter dimension that you all fight through PvE and then PvP at the end for rewards.
Mortal Exodus, the spaceship. I'm kidding. I don't want to bring back that meme, but yeah. No, that sounds cool.
Yeah. So and
yeah.
it's gonna be that's basically Zerg control content, which I thought is cool. It's going to be competitive. I think that they should make a ranking system for that. So there's like an MMR system.
Oh yeah, no, if there's competitive in anything, I'm into it.
Yeah,
like, I fuck out of Rocket League.
Yeah, like we need an MMR system type something. Like I think that the arena and Fabridom should be utilized for actual like 1v1s, 2v2s that are MMR based. And there's gold involved, obviously, for winning. I think that
the arena yet?
Well, I'm talking about like an actual coded system, some sort of scripted event that you go talk to the NPC, sign up for the fights. It finds you a fight, schedules you, or it automatically teleports you into the arena. You fight, win or lose. You gain or lose MMR. You gain some gold. maybe gain some rep. I don't know, because there
See,
could.
I think they could definitely do that with the NPCs. Enter the arena, it puts you in an instance where you're inside the arena,
Yeah.
and it just sends waves of enemies. You start with walkers and climb up the food chain.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that works too. And I mean, that's like, yeah,
Badass.
I think
Even
that would
as
be really cool.
even as a single player event, there's not a lot of solo content in this game, and this game
Yeah.
needs solo content, at least for the new players. You know, you shoot one bandit, now you got a whole camp coming after you, and there's all you can do is run away and keep picking at
Yeah,
them.
that's I always tell players: go farm risers, pick them with bows so you can pull one at a time.
Yeah.
And it's better parry practice too for new players. I mean, yeah, I think that that needs to be edited. There are a lot of things. I mean, the one of the things that still gets me to this day, and I know how difficult it is so I'm not gonna rag on it too hard like a dead horse, but the NPC mapping,
Oh yeah,
it's horrible.
Walking.
It's
Yeah,
horrible.
walking underground, walking through
Up
walls
hills, like when you put them in
Lightning,
mercy, like when they're not mercy, right before mercy, when they run away
yeah.
and they just go up the fucking hill like nothing.
There's been a couple bandits. What was it? South of Meduli. Past like you go over one mountain, go over another mountain. There's this bandit camp on the side of the mountain. You can stand on the rock and shoot into their village. I've lost loot bags and I've lost kills because they just run into that rock. They start running away, fleeing, and they just phase right through the rock.
Yeah, like I was in the jungle yesterday just to farm outlaws, and these outlaws were just going up the fucking mountains, down the mountains, like places I would not be able to go. I did and I don't know how many I lost, and they could have been Rubers, right? And that's what I'm down there doing. I'm farming Rubers, and it's like fuck, right? Like I charged my rings, I didn't get jack shit. I killed 75 outlaws, and I didn't get jack shit yesterday. And I was like, dang, I should have at least had a drop. And I was thinking to myself, maybe, just maybe, it was one of those outlaws that ran away, right? I'll never know.
Because you can't reach the loot bag up the mountain, yeah.
Right, well, I can't even kill them half the time because they're just, like, gone. Like, they just grow, like, gravity boots and just crawl up the walls.
Well, you're on the West Coast. Do you think that might be even a latency system, like a latency issue when they just vanish like that?
No, it's not vanishing. It's just they go up mountains. Like they go directly up like fucking 120-degree mountains. Like just crawled up them and like I can't get to them.
Yeah. See, my thing about the outlaws and the bandits and all that is they chase you forever. They're worse than not worse than a razorback. Them fuckers will chase you across the continent. But like like if you're carrying something you're not farming, you're just trying to get from point A to point B. Outlaws spawn behind you. They will chase you and then chase you. Then you'll lose them and think you're safe. And the same group will just spawn next to you. Like, oh, you gotta run away again. I already survived the encounter. Why do I have to survive it twice?
No, I got you.
You already lost me. Now you're going to spawn out of the ground next to me again. Like that's my whole thing about
Well,
this.
they did fix the leashing on Undercroft. So
did they?
Yeah, so I run Undercroft all the fucking time.
Dude, I swear to God they do. Or maybe I'm running into a second spawn, but I swear to God they do.
I can't say I've seen that, but I'll take your word for it, bro.
I'm telling you they do. I ain't crazy. But yeah, so they fixed the leashing with the Undercroft?
Yeah. So the mobs used to be when they used to chase you infinitely, unless you turned around and hit them. You hit them once, and they would leash back. Yeah, it was the stupidest thing. I actually remember one time I brought a shit ton of 3 Tendremic Guardians all the way to my stronghold because they were just chasing me. And I didn't realize at that point in time I could have just jabbed them and they would have ran away. But now they actually de-aggro and leash back after, in the dungeon. So it's
okay.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I noticed that a couple things were fixed with the leashing. Like you leave that immediate area, they'll just run back away. I did notice that, like through the small little things that I do.
Yeah.
Often do. So that's cool. But yeah, them Razorbacks, they're deadly. They'll chase you across the continent.
Oh yeah, 100%. So, by the way, I wanted to go over this because maybe you can help me because I've been itching my fucking head about this. You know how on Sprint 3 we got the Legislators, the new task systems, and the New Haven player experience, right?
Yeah.
So why is it that says delivered on the new dungeon?
Uh, I don't know. I haven't heard about no new dungeon. I haven't seen no new dungeon.
Right. So I've been trying to figure
And
that out
then,
for the longest time, and then we still have another dungeon we're looking forward to on Sprint 4. But is that going to just get pushed to a future Sprint 5? Because we're expecting a new mount, a new medium armor, and a veteran system, and the new jungle dungeon that's been talked about for like months.
yeah, the jungle definitely needs a new dungeon. Um, I don't know. That's a Henrik question, right? But I imagine if they haven't put it through yet, that yeah, it's probably just going to get pushed back. You know.
Right. So
I,
yeah, I've been kind of
but
confused by this one.
I don't know why that they would say that it's implemented or that it's in like the. I remember when the new dungeon came out, right? The one next to Middle, or no, the what was the most recent dungeon that's up near Morinker, by the lake or whatever.
Oh,
There,
Sylvan Sanctum.
Okay, yeah, when that dungeon came out, Kodo found it like within the first hour of it dropping. So I would look near them. Like that's where we find all of our information at. Like, oh, this is here, this is there. It's like I'm at work. I didn't even get to log in yet. You're already completing the
That
dungeon. What the
dungeon, and
fuck?
I'm only saying this because I want more people to show up to that dungeon. It's a money maker. It's a
Yeah,
money maker.
I think you were saying that on one of your previous
Yeah,
episodes. You were like saying you came out with like a couple thousand gold or whatever.
yeah,
Hey, Tater, what's happening?
yeah. Like I run that dungeon, just actually duoed it with me and the homie not long ago, and we got the left piece of one of the inner sanctum keys, which is the more rare of the pieces. If you didn't know that, so the right side is very common.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
left side is a more rare piece. I'm not going to tell you which gave it to me, but uh, that's 900 gold just for the left piece of the key, and
Hmm.
then you get Dracon out the fucking ass. You get all sorts of alchemy shit out the ass, gems out the ass. Um, I swear to God, you can come out. You can go out in there for maybe just one little loop, and you could easily make 1,000 gold in just gems and alchemy products. It's absolutely insane, and the crazier part is, I never really see people in there. Occasionally I'll run into cruelty in his guild. I'll run into maybe I'll run into Odin Seed, but usually there's three different entrances in the dungeon, and Odin Seed's entrance is on the opposite of where we're at, right? So I don't really typically see Odin Seed unless I decide to get ballsy and move down there. And when I do, it's just a shit ton of them, right? Because I'm usually in a small
Yeah.
group doing it. Um,
Yeah, and that's kind of why I don't have a whole lot of experiences with different dungeons like that. Because, like I said, the university we're a small we're a new guy good guy guild. We're designed to stay small, and we get invited to these big dungeons and we do these big dungeons. But then it comes down to like our availability. Most of us have kids or we got jobs and stuff like that. So it's really like a timing issue or just a size issue to like why we can't, why we don't have a whole lot of experience in these areas. But we're starting to grow. We had a little influx, a little player boost I noticed in Mortal since there's
oh yeah, it's been huge. We've been recruiting a lot of new players. It's great. It's great, healthy for the
yeah.
game, honestly.
Yeah, this game needs some marketing behind it though. There hasn't been any marketing.
Well, Henrik said that he was going to be doing a marketing push after the Haven experience was released. I think he realized that he needs to update Marland to kind of
Hmm.
be the continuing experience after Haven. Because right now, you go into fucking Haven, you think, oh my god, this is so cool, there's so much cool content, and you get the Marland, and it's kind of different, you know?
Yeah, it's a lot different. Yeah, because everything's so spaced out, and it's a lot harder, and yeah, it's a completely different experience.
Right, right. Yeah, so I think that's maybe why we haven't seen any advertisement from Star Vault, is because
Well,
we're expecting the refresh of
so
maybe Marland.
so what's wild about that? And I'm what's wild about that is they have creators, they have streamers, they have partners. I'm in their partner program. I've not once been reached out to. Hey, will you make us a an advert? Will you make us a promotional video? Will you do this or will you do that? They don't talk to us. They don't talk to their creators. They don't utilize their creators. I had their competition, a game called Life is Feudal, reach out to me, and have me and sponsored a video where I went in, I played their game, I talked about their game. I used to play it back in the day, so I was a little bit familiar with it already. But it's wild when a competitor of yours is reaching out to your creators, to your partners, and saying, "Hey, do a video on our game, name your price." You know, they need to utilize their partners.
Speaking about Life is Beautiful, bro, didn't that game literally like go under because of a bunch of like weird fund transfer shits with that? What's that? That payment system that Mortal's using it too. It's based in California. It's a money. It's like for the subscription based. Oh, fuck.
I forget the service, but my 6-month subscription is coming up soon, so I'll be refreshed on that probably next month. But yeah, no, I'm not sure what happened to the Life is Feudal's like original team.
Oh, I heard the Russians just like copy and pasted it and refreshed it on Steam.
What, Life is Feudal?
Yeah.
Yeah, their new company's called Longtail Games. I don't know if they're Russians or whatever. I'm still sponsored by them until this December.
So we won't talk about that.
No. I mean, the video's up, and like I said, I have no problem with them or the game. They treated me right. They made the process easy. You know, it was an easy sponsorship to do. But yeah, I don't know much about Longtail Games or their inner doings, nor But if people are getting scammed, then that's something I'd like to know about, But I don't think they are. But the original company, the original company got caught up with some bullshit. I don't know the specifics of the bullshit they got caught up in, because I honestly didn't play that game for too long. It's like Mortal. You got to sink time and hours into this game. But the whole moral of it, or the whole like reason I even brought that up, is because, like I said, it's their competition that reached out to their creators, offered them, hey, promote our game. It's why am I hearing from a competitor when that's not even my main game? It has a crossover audience, whatever, but I want to promote the game that I love, the game that I keep playing.
Right.
He has free advertisement, he has cheap advertisement, he has creators that will promote the game if asked. They just have to reach out and say, hey, what's up? Like I got a charity event coming on the 27th. I don't know if I can plug my shit or not.
Yeah, of course, plug it away, bro. I mean, you're starting that podcast up too, we're going to talk about, so yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to roll here soon. It's almost 7 o'clock. I gotta wake up at 4 a.m. to go to bed. But I mean, like we can talk about that for sure. But I got a charity event coming up on the 27th. It's going to be a 12-hour full day of Mortal. I'm trying to reach out to these. I tried to reach out to Rombo. He directed me to another dev. That dev hasn't got back to me. So I went straight to Hendrik. I said, hey, man, I want to talk to the guy. I want to talk to the guy. I want to do, Twitch puts you on the front page when you do charity events.
Right.
They also take into account your views, subscribers, supporters, all this and that and the other. Every year I do a charity event for KCNT1/epilepsy. The last 2 years I did it with playing Rocket League, because it's just something short, engaging, simple, whatever. Hang out, have fun, whatever. I want to put Mortal on the stream for the charity event, and that will get that game out on the front page. Now, to keep people entertained and to keep the numbers up and to keep people's eyes focused on Mortal, I want to do giveaways. So I asked, hey, can I get like 3 keys to pass out during this event? I haven't heard anything back from them yet, but if I have to, I'll go into my pocket and gift
I'll reach out to Nimbus. I'll get you in.
Yeah, that's who I'm waiting on, is Nebulous or whatever.
Yeah. I'll get you. I'll hook you up, bro.
Yeah. No. So I'm trying to do Steam giveaways while I'm doing this charity event to keep people, around and waiting on that giveaway, just to keep the numbers up, keep the views up. You know how it is.
Yeah,
as a
100%.
Streamer. But I mean, if I absolutely have to, I can do like 1 giveaway out of my pocket, and then I guess I can give away my alt account. So there's 2 giveaways, but I'm trying to act like a partner for this game and help promote this game, and instead their competition's coming over saying, hey, make a video for us. That's what.
Nah, fuck yeah. I just invited you to the official content creator Discord.
Oh, right on. I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, bro.
So yeah, no, I got accepted into this partner program. Haven't heard a word about it since. it was like it never existed. It was just a title I could say that I am.
Yeah, it's really weird. I don't know how they really like. I feel like a majority of the content creators from Mortal should be second tier, which means that we get free sub for the game, and along with additional quote unquote content and giveaway content. So
Yeah.
it's very curious because I don't know who's actually in charge of the program, but I know that there's a lot of people meeting those expectations on YouTube. Like I'm on Spotify, and my Spotify numbers are actually really good.
Right on.
Yeah, and I don't really care about Twitch, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to get them YouTube numbers up. Like I like Twitch, you know, it's where I originated from or whatever. But yeah, Twitch got their own like ups and downs with them as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, you know, I want to promote the game. I want to act like a partner. I want to be a part of. I want to be partnered with this game, with this team. You know, like,
Right.
And in order to do that, I need to have some direction. What am I doing here? I'm making tutorials. Like some of my videos got a couple thousand views. That's cool. I wish they'd transfer into subs, of course, but you know, get subscribes, get follows. But what am I doing beyond that? Like when people release these PvP videos, when people release these tutorials, when, you know, they release this type of content, like the community that already knows about the game, those are the people that watch that type of content, that care about the game because they're involved with it.
Right.
We need to make videos to present it to an outside audience. And in order to do that, we need a little bit of direction as creators to, you know.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think that there needs to be more attention to the community content creators.
And not even like special attention, like hop into our streams. I know Farmer Joe hopped into my stream.
Yeah.
I see Robmo around a couple streams, Henrik's in your stream and a couple other streams. But just hop in one day. Hey, how you doing? How do you like the game?
Yeah.
You know, what's your thoughts, or what's your chat's thoughts?
I'm trying to do an interview with Henrik, actually. That is something I'm trying to work on right now. I was actually working on somebody else, but they got too afraid about the information that they were about to release. I'm not going to really talk about that, but I did talk about it in a previous podcast. Yeah, that person got afraid, and I can understand why. So my next thing is I'm working on Henrik, see how if that's a possibility, and then what you got going on is really promising. This conversation that we've had has been very good. I'm very interested to hear more about the podcast that you're coming out with.
Well, it's in an idea form so far. I've been reaching out to a couple of creators, including you, to look for a co-host or two. And I just want to talk about the game, talk about the direction, you know, experience, different players' experiences with the game, you know, their thoughts, their ideas. Talk about, you know, news, updates, community. I want to bring a positive vibe into the community because that's like really what it needs, in all honesty. You talk to anybody and it's just like, well, it's one thing to be critical about something, but it's another just to like you see help chat's basically a mini Reddit. You know, like
Right.
The game doesn't have a good rep, and I just want to bring like a fresh breath air, you know, talk about the past, present, future, kind of like what we're doing right now, just sitting down having a conversation, pick like 2-3 topics to talk about, end it on a positive note, and, you know, wrap it up for the week. But yeah, I was thinking about calling it the Mortals Podcast, '*S. You know, you guys play the game, you're mortals. You know, so I got the title. I'm just looking for the co-host, and just, you know, yeah, it's going to be a podcast with no like real specific topic or reason or whatever. We're just going to discuss the game, you know, and everything, and everything under the umbrella of what is Mortal, what is the community, talk about different skills and anything as long as it's related to the game and it makes the game sound interesting, positive, whatever. You know?
Yeah, fuck yeah, bro.
We can have guests or whatever. I don't really much care to talk about, like, you know, the different guilds or who's doing what or whatever. That's, you know, unless it affects somebody at like an average Joe level, like if one day Meduli or Moki becomes so unsafe that we have to warn the people, warn the mortals. So yeah, I don't know, it's just like an idea rolling, and once we find that one or two co-hosts, then we can really start ironing out the wrinkles and getting a direction for it.
Yeah,
Like
no, fuck yeah.
it's an enigma of an idea right now. It's nothing, we have nothing recorded, nothing, no release dates or anything like that.
Okay.
I'm just looking for a couple people that would be interested to sit around, talk about the game. Bring on guests occasionally if someone can't make it, or if we just don't have anything to talk about that day. Bring on a guest, say, "Hey man,
Yep.
you're a random blue or you're a random player. What do you think?"
No, that's good. That's smart.
And having co-hosts like that would open up different perspectives and ideas and talking points and stuff like that. Just have a different perspective into the game.
Fuck yeah, bro. I like that. I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to see what you got. It has been a pleasure, my friend.
Yeah.
We'll end it there, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And make sure to check out Bravado's Twitch channel and YouTube. We'll be posting that in the description of the YouTube and Spotify. Thank you again, guys.
Search Br4vado for all your mortal needs. I do a bunch of I do a bunch of tutorials, beginner level stuff, advanced stuff like that. But yeah, guys, just Google me, Br4vado. You might find me, you might not. Just if you do, follow me, but don't follow me home. That would be weird.
Well said, sir. You have a good rest of your night. Take care, okay?
Yeah, you too. Thanks for your time, dude.
No, thank you. Bye-bye.
Later.